So let's try and take over the world, one tank at a time with Trident Third. Hi everyone, George here, and so excited today because it's day 2 of aquascaping here at Scape Nature. If you missed out on my vlog from yesterday, do check it out. I'll leave a link up there and in the description as well. And this video is mainly going to focus on planting this beautiful Aquascaper 1200. So let's talk about planting. Now you might know that I'm a massive fan of epiphyte plants, in particular Java fern, Bucephalandra, Anubias and mosses as well. So no surprise, we'll be using a lot of those in here. These are great because they're actually undemanding. They don't need a lot of light. They don't need CO2 injection, although we will be using CO2 injection. And they just look great. I just love the way they attach to the decoration, to the wood and the rocks. They make the aquascape look kind of mature and grown in. They're kind of my style. I use them in a lot of aquascapes. And I talk about the feedback I get. A lot of people think, yeah, just same old style, but you know, it is kind of my style and I don't make any apologies for it. And you know, this is the biggest aquascape in the store. The way it's situated, and I'll show you later in the film, it's going to be one of the first things people see as they enter the store, but it's going to be quite a long way away. So it's really important that we, try to make the scape look as attractive as possible, as early as possible. So yeah, we're going to use all the plants I just mentioned, and we're going to use the crypts as well in the mid-ground, and then some stem plants in the background. So let's start off with our epiphytes. Loads of Anubias Petite, which is a beautiful smaller form of the regular Anubias nana. So let's use a good sort of 5-6 pots of that. I love Anubias, it's really slow growing, really easy. It likes to be shaded. If it gets too much light, then you will get algae on it. A real classic, easy plant, and ideal for beginners as well. And then I want some Bucephalandra. This is the Bucephalandra Wavy Green from Tropica. And then let's look at some other epiphytes. So we've got epiphytes, if you didn't know, are plants that like to be attached to wood or rock. So let's go for a few Microsorum Tridents. Again, this is by Tropica. And you might be thinking, wow, he's using a lot of plants, and I am. And the good reason for that is that the more plants you have, the less chance of algae you get. So always think about an aquarium as a battle zone between algae and plants. So it's really important that we plant heavily, make sure those plants are really healthy, and look after those plants with appropriate conditions. Good lighting, appropriate lighting, CO2 injection if you're using it, good liquid fertilizers every day, good substrate, and most importantly probably is the maintenance. If you don't maintain the aquascape, then you're just going to get punished with algae, simple as that. Let's go for crypts next. So these are actually from Aquaflora. We've got wendtii brown, this is one of my favourite crypts. Got some beckettii as well. Let's go for 3 pots of that. And then we've got some taller crypts. These are Tropica, these are Cryptocoryne willisii. Lovely specimens. Let's go for 4 pots of that. And then we've got some balansae, which would be a perfect background plant. This will grow quite tall. This is from Aquaflora. 1, 2, 3. We've got some more Bucephalandra here. This is from Aquaflora. This is the Bucephalandra mini red. It's beautiful. So let's go for 3 pots of that. 1. Oh, we've got some Anubias Pangolino as well. And then we'll do the stem plants at the end. So that's all the epiphyte plants and the crypts. We'll prepare them now. So remove the label and then gently pull the pot away. And then normally the stone wool comes in 2 halves, so we can quite easily separate that. It doesn't matter if there's a little bit of stone wool left in the plant when you're planting, but try to get rid of as much as you can. You can actually do this underwater, maybe in a bucket as well, if you wanted to really get rid of more of the stone wool. And there we have, pretty much prepared. And we just repeat that process. So that's most of the plants prepared now. We've just got the background crypts, which is the balansae and the stem plants. And I'm also going to leave the Microsorum, the ferns, right to the end because they dry out and they can die off quite quickly. Okay, now it's time to plant. So we'll start off by mixing up the Cryptocorynes in the mid-ground. We've got willisii, wendtii brown and beckettii. And the reason I'm going to mix them up almost randomly is to create this enhanced textural and mixture of colours, which is going to give us this naturalistic feel that we're after. You know, in nature we very rarely see single blocks monotone of colour and texture. It's often kind of intertwined and quite complex, so we're trying to replicate that in this nature aquarium style. So first of all, I'm just going to put some willisii in. The great thing about crypts is they're just really easy. It doesn't matter if they're shaded, they'll still grow really slowly. Yeah, the more they're shaded, the less likely algae you'll get. You do get something called crypt melt, which is the plant adapting to its new environment. So it's very kind of common in new setups. These plants have been grown hydroponically, which means out of water. So as they adapt to their underwater conditions, they have to go through quite a transition. And during this transition, you can experience this melt. But don't worry, hopefully as the plant adapts to its new condition underwater, it will start growing in its new kind of submersed form. So that's the willisii done on the right hand side. Now I'm just going to intermix it with some beckettii. Now this will actually grow quite a bit taller. It's much shorter at the moment compared to the willisii, but they should hopefully grow almost sort of equal height. And then that will mean really nice sort of variation in textures and colours. Now I'm planting into the soil dry. This is a technique that I've been using for a few months now. Shout out to my friend Uris from a German full-time aquascaper, and it's just something I really love now. It's less messy, it's quicker, you get less floating plants when you do fill up with water. People often ask how deep should I bury my plants. Now there is no optimum depth, but what I would say is just make sure that the plant roots bury deep enough to anchor themselves. Beautiful specimens here from Tropica and Aquaflora. When you're buying your plants, not only should you make sure you buy enough of them to help avoid this, algae, but also make sure they're healthy. So have a chat with your retailer, with your shop, your store. Ask when they get their next shipment of plants in, and then visit the store, as soon as you can. So those plants as fresh as possible from the nurseries, whether that may be from Denmark, in the case of Tropica, or from the Netherlands, from Aquaflora. So you can see, guys, I'm just literally randomly mixing these up. They're going to completely kind of cover the substrate and a nice height. They should probably reach around 20 centimeters or so, maybe taller, depending on the growth conditions. It's one of the cool things about crypts. You never really know how they're going to turn out in the long term. Sometimes they'll grow much taller than you think, sometimes they'll stay quite short. Okay, so it's important that the plants don't dry out. So give them a spray every so often. Some species are more prone to drying out than others. The worst affected are Microsorum, which is a Java fern, Bulbitis, and Echinodorus. Make sure they're always kept moist. Okay, now it's a case of attaching some of our epiphyte plants. So again, I'm going to kind of mix these up almost randomly to help enhance this sense of naturalistic feel that we're after. So now I'm quite lazy, so I just literally find areas that I can literally just wedge the plant into, and then that will self-attach in a matter of a few weeks. The plant roots and the rhizomes will creep over the wood or the rock and really become self-secure. Some beautiful Anubias Petite here from Tropica. Some Pangolino here from Aquaflora. And some of the mini red Bucephalandra. This is beautiful. It's a very similar conceptual layout to an Aquascape I did in my own 1200 at home, and this is why I kind of wanted to replicate on it and maybe even improve it. You know, aquascaping is all about learning and evolving your own style. So I'm using arguably much stronger hardscape in this aquascape. You know, the combination of the Manzanita and the Frodo stone works absolutely beautifully, I would say, in here. It's really worth investing your cash, your cold hard cash, in hardscape. It's a really important part of aquascaping, and especially this kind of nature aquarium style. It is the backbone of the layout. You know, if you start off with a really strong hardscape layout, which we've done today, you can quite easily create a stunning aquascape, especially with the right quantity and the right health and the right selection of your plants, which again we've got today. And just want to kind of sort of congratulate Ray really on such a beautiful store. So nice to see it come to fruition. And at the time of filming, it is about a month away from the grand opening, 26th of January 2019. So if you're watching this and you're able to come down, it is free entry. I did warn Ray that it might get absolutely inundated with people. That's what we're hoping. You know, we want to spread the aquascaping message as far and wide as we can, and I think, you know, a store like this is absolutely real good influence on that, especially in the local area as well. You know, the situation of the shop is great. It's actually really in the centre of Norwich, which is a large city on the east of England. A lot of people are going to be hopefully inspired and start their own journey in aquascaping. For me, that's what it's all about, and it's just a privilege to be involved. And you can just see how easy it is to attach these plants. You know, no glue, no string, just wedge it in there. And if you've got the right kind of hardscape, then it is really quite easy. Okay, we have used a lot of plants in here, but it's just going to really help get this real nice impact straight away. And not only that, more importantly, it's just going to help establish the system, fight off the algae. And then the combination with the good lighting we're using, we're going to use Kessil lights on here, the good substrate system, the Tropica soil, good liquid fertilisers, so probably the Aquascaper complete liquid plant food or Tropica specialised, good circulation levels. It's really going to encourage the healthiest system, and in turn that's going to help avoid algae. And not forgetting the big water changes. I think Ray's going to hopefully be doing probably a 50% water change every other day for leading up to the opening, I'm guessing, because we want the tanks to look obviously as stunning as possible. The shop isn't only aquascaping, it's doing like terrariums, wabikusas, kokodamas, all sorts of kind of natural, bringing nature indoors, you know, connecting with nature. I think it's really important to do this in this day and age. Okay, now it's a case of planting our Cryptocoryne balansae. I'm going to plant kind of equal amounts on the left and the right, and then we use the centre section in the background for the Ludwigia palustris. Okay, so here we've got our beautiful Ludwigia palustris, one of the easier plants that you can get to turn red. Very fast growing, ideal for new aquariums where you want the fastest growth possible to help fight off these early algae issues that are really common. So we've got 3 pots, and you can see how dense they are. You know, they're not cuttings that have just been inserted into the stone wall. They're actually grown in the stone wall and propagated this way. So you get a much more kind of dense plant matter for your pot. So here you can see I've removed the stems from the pots, and then I've just divided each pot into 2 or 3 portions. And then we can grab all those stems in one bunch like so, and then we insert that into the back centre, into the soil, and this is going to grow really super rapid and, like I said, help defeat algae, but also create a lovely kind of focal point plant because of the red coloration. And red plants are great, especially for new people in the hobby where, you know, a red plant is quite eye-catching and desirable. But what I will say is they should be used with care. You know, because they are so high impact, they can be, you know, cause a little bit of kind of confusion and chaos in an aquascape if they're not used appropriately. So, you know, we're putting this kind of directly central in the scape today, which probably normally usually avoid. You probably want to offset it a little bit, maybe by a third, you know, to keep in accordance with the rule of thirds. But I think it's going to be absolutely fine in this scape because we've got so many other textures, so many kind of bold visual elements with the hardscape. I don't think it really matters that it's central because the overall aesthetic balance is being dealt with nicely by the naturalistic hardscape materials and the planting of the epiphytes as well. Okay, last but certainly by no means least, we've got the beautiful Trident fern, Microsorum Trident from Tropica. 4 or 5 pots here that I've already prepared. I'm going to attach these in strategically to the wood. We might need to use some glue or cable ties, but I'm hoping I can find areas where we can just kind of tuck them in again. But these are going to provide super impact, especially once they're mature. And yeah, I just love it. One of my favourite plants of all time. Ray loves it as well, and I'm sure people visiting the store will love it too. So let's try and take over the world, one tank at a time with Trident fern. That's the planting complete. I'll leave a list of all the plant species we've used in the description, but mainly epiphytes, crypts and the palustris stems in the back. Really pleased with it. They obviously look really quite immature right now, but as the weeks and months go on, it's going to fill out and turn into hopefully a really beautiful scape. Okay guys, that's the plants all in there now. That's a case of filling up with water, fit the filtration equipment, the CO2 and the lighting, and away we go. Really exciting. I think it looks great. Can't wait to see it grow in. And can't wait to see what a great job Ray does at maintaining it. No pressure, Ray. Okay everyone, that is planting complete. We've filled with water. We've fitted our Oase Biomaster 600 Thermo. One of them, we are going to fit another one in the future, just waiting for it to come in. Got the glass pipe work set, Aquascaper from Evolution Aqua. Got EA lighting hanging kit, again from Evolution Aqua. 2 Kessil A360 WE Tuna Suns. Fitted to the Kessil Spectral controller. I'm really pleased with the scape, lot to grow in, but you can see already quite a nice impact, and it's going to be the, I would say, the focal kind of aquascape for the store. So as you walk in the shop at the far end, you look down basically like a long corridor, and this kind of illuminates the back of the shop, and I think it's a really kind of nice inviting thing for people to see. I'm going to wrap it up there. Please give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Share it if you can, that'd be awesome. Subscribe if you haven't already, and you keep on scaping. Take care. Cheerio.